Hey guys, welcome back to the No Holds Barred Network with another episode of Under the Ropes. I'm your host as always, the Queen of the Indies, and today's special guest is my good friend Conan Lycan. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so excited that you can join me on the Under the Ropes series here. So it's been a while that we've been wanting to get you on. So thank you again.
Thanks for having me.
So guys, if you're new to the No Holds Barred Network with the Under the Rope series, here I interview everything independent wrestling, wrestlers, referees, promoters, behind the scenes, anything independent wrestling. I got you covered. If you guys have questions for Conan, I'm sure he'll be more than happy to answer any of your questions. So please drop them into the chat. Hi guys, I see you in the chat so far. Hey Chad, hey good cop, bad cop, what's going on? So so you know what? We're gonna dive right in. Everybody that I usually have on the podcast, I always like to learn a little bit more about them. So I always like to go back to basics, and I always like to ask about how did you get into professional wrestling?
How did I get into professional wrestling? So I don't know. I've said it a million times before. It's just like me and my mom. Like I was like 3 years old, and my dad owned nightclubs and stuff like that, so like he would be at work and all that stuff, and me and my mom would just sit down and watch wrestling, and I was obsessed with it. And like I never, like, a lot of the people like grew out of it and stuff, like when we got to like high school and everything, but like not me. Like I was playing football and everything, but still, like, I love wrestling. Like it was just what I loved. And then I never grew out of it. It's just always been my thing.
What was like your favorite thing about it?
Honestly, I don't even, like, just like the stories and everything. So like I'm a 90s baby. So like I like the Attitude Era and all that stuff. Like everything was just so high energetic and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like I wasn't ever into like superheroes and stuff like that. Like I wasn't into any of those Marvel things that everyone's into and all that stuff. And like those guys like in WWE were my superheroes. Like, as cliche as it sounds, like that's who I looked up to and who I wanted to be like and everything like that. So yeah, it's just everything about it though, like the pyro, the stories, the energy, like it was just all just amazing. Do
you remember like the first independent show that you went to as a fan?
Okay, that's so that's a little different. So that was honestly not until like a recent thing. Like I didn't know what the indies were.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and a lot of people make fun of me because of that stuff. But like, I mean, I knew they existed, but I was never like an indie type person. Like a lot of people were fans of all these different people and stuff like that. And then when I got trained in 2018, the end of 2018, that was when I got like my first glimpse of what the independents were even like. I didn't even know it was like this. So that's why it's like, yeah, I'm fairly still new to this, but yeah, I remember what it was like, and it wasn't like a very credible place. So I was like, "What is this?" You know.
I feel like a lot of people feel, especially me, because I feel you. Like I feel like I've only been watching like the independent scene the last like 7-8 years. I think I didn't even know it existed. So it's a magical place, as I like to call it. This is why I love doing these interviews with everybody, because it's really interesting to see where where your mindset has been. So
yeah.
So let's talk about Black and Brave. I mean, you trained there. You trained with Seth Rollins. I mean, we've had JT Energy on the podcast. We talked about it with him a little bit. So I'd love to talk to you a little bit about your experience. How was the training? Did you expect it to be like that? Like, give us a little bit on it.
Well, when I left, I was just getting done playing Division I football, so I was like, oh, this is gonna be cake, because like I've been wrestling like in my backyard with my friends my whole entire life, and like I knew how to do everything. I just didn't expect it to be as taxing as it was. Like as soon as you get there, like you got to go through this test to get into the school and all that stuff, and it's hell. Like I thought it would be easy compared to everything that I've done with sports and all that stuff, but just like the hours on hours and hours of CrossFit on top of like just just feeling all beat up and everything like that. It was tough. But for me, honestly, I did make an easy transition from football to wrestling. Like I said, like I've been doing this stuff like my whole life, so like it was pretty easy to like take bumps and do everything that I do. But yeah, it was Black and Brave. Honestly, like it was the best decision I ever made in my whole entire life to go there. Like they really start from scratch with everyone, and if you really love wrestling, like they're gonna weed out the people that think they love wrestling and they're just fans.
Mm-hmm.
Colby Seth has said before, like that's fine too. Like there's a place for everyone in this business, but in the ring, it takes a certain person, and yeah, it was such a good time. Like I made some of my closest friends were in my class, and so I lucked out with that. Benjamin Carter, that's now Nathan Fraser for NXT UK. Solomon Tupu, Campbell Myers. There's a bunch of people, but yeah, I really love Black and Brave, and it really helped me out a lot. It was just the best place to go.
It's so cool. Like it's really neat. So it's like it's exciting to like hear like. I think when I got back into wrestling, that's like where like Seth Rollins was like my favorite. I don't really watch WWE anymore, but Seth Rollins was kind of like the Klingon for me to like when I got back into wrestling from so many ages ago. So it's really interesting to watch you guys. And like I know a bunch of you, like I see a whole bunch of you even like in person that has worked there. But like, how's that transition, right? Like from going, like you said, like football to CrossFit. Yeah. Like how hard? Like between the difference of like what you're regularly training to do to switch it up to CrossFit.
Well, it's like, I mean, I'm a bigger guy too, so it's like a lot of the body weight and the movements and all that stuff. It's not like when I was playing football and stuff like that. And yeah, I've weightlifted since I was 13, so like nothing was really hard to me. But the compound movements are usually bench, squat, deadlift, power clean, stuff like that. But to go to CrossFit at my body weight and do all those pull-ups, muscle-ups, all that stuff like that, it was tough. And I was like, geez, but I could understand why Seth does that, because it does translate to the ring very well. But yeah, I did it for those times that I was in class, and then not much after that. Like I just moved home from Iowa actually, but I would do a CrossFit workout with him and Becky every now and then, but that is definitely not something that I like to do throughout the week. I like just doing regular like bodybuilding movements and stuff like that. But
what's one of the hardest parts about it?
I would have to say, I mean, I don't know, the running, like compared to like, there's just certain workouts where you got like the time caps and stuff like that, where you got to beat a certain time and everything like that. And when you're sitting there and you are just like thinking about it, like I'm 260 pounds. I still got to pull myself up this many times, and then I got to run over there that many times, and then I got to come over here and do rows, and then it was just awful. It's like being blown up in the ring times 10. Like you're burning the whole time. Everything hurts.
Yeah. Oof. My goodness. I give you guys credit. Like I could never do it. So it's like, and then we've had wrestlers come on here and they talk about like the cardio is like one of the hardest factors. And that's like what you really need to work on if you're looking to get into wrestling is cardio. So,
yeah.
So, oof. I see you guys in the chat. We're going right into these questions. All right, so I'm going to read some of these questions. Some of them were actually in mine, so I'm going to mix them for you. Jeff says, big fan of yours. Thoughts on your matches from Hybrid Wrestling. What do you think of their product?
Hybrid Wrestling is, I think it's one of my most favorite places to ever work and stuff like that. Mike's doing a great job over there, and Brett and everything like that. It's just, I love that place, and I want to be on every single show that I could be on for them, because it's just the way it's ran, very respectful, very nice in the locker room and all that stuff. It's a good time, and the matches has been going pretty well. So, yeah. It's
a great promotion. I got to be there in Atlantic City, and like You know, it's funny because, like, I was going to talk about this match, but let me go into the fan tweet as well. And I see your question in the chat, good cut, bad cut, but let me go with your fan tweet since we're talking about hybrid. He goes, I wanted to watch a Conan match before the interview and saw hybrid wrestling on YouTube. Aces Low had a match with Matt Makowsky. Awesome. The whole card was stacked and we'll definitely be watching the whole event later. What other matches of yours would you recommend?
From just hybrid or just matches of mine at all?
I think overall.
Well, me and Jimmy Lloyd at hybrid pretty well. Me at JCW opening day with Steve Manders. I really liked that match a lot. That was actually my favorite match that I was ever in. And then probably the match that I had with Steve this past weekend at hybrid was pretty good too. So. Really
great match. I love that it's on YouTube as well.
Yeah.
That we're getting a lot of this, that if you guys aren't paying for apps, that you can watch a lot of these promotions on YouTube. I mean, I could talk about your match with Matt Makowsky, who we've had on the podcast as well. I love Matt Makowsky. And you guys had an amazing match together. You guys have great chemistry. Can we talk a little bit about that, like from, you know, your eyes of that?
Oh, yeah. Course.
So just tell us like anything that comes to your mind with it.
Matt Makowsky he's a really good dude, but yeah, that was tough. He's a real MMA guy. Like he's put me in all these different positions and stuff like that I'm like, oh shit, I'm not used to this at all. Like usually people are in there and like we're just slamming the hell out of each other and I'm throwing people around and stuff like that. But that dude, yeah, he knows what he's doing and everything like that. So it was tough, but I ended up getting the W and went really well. But yeah, he's a good guy. I definitely got a lot of respect for him.
He's the best. He's great. How is that like with, you know, there's so much different styles of wrestling out there, and like you focus on your own, and then you're working like Matt Makowsky, who's pretty much MMA based, which we talked about with him as well. But like there's that, and then you have all different kinds of types of wrestling. Like how is that transition from how you wrestle to like even like somebody who's like high flying or like bigger than you? Like how difficult is that?
It's always a test every time I go out there and stuff like that because everyone's so different, you know.
Right.
And I definitely have my certain style that I like to work and everything like that, and I gotta stay true to what I do.
Right.
But I do find it like fun to go out there and be like, okay, this person's good at this, so how can I change this and make it into what I do and everything like that? How can I adjust? How can I, you know, like get up on this person? So it's definitely a test, and it's nerve-wracking at times, but when you pull it off and you're walking back and everything worked out well, you feel like you got better, you know? So it's cool to go out there and work guys like Steve Manders, Matt Makowsky, Campbell Myers. Like everyone is so different.
Yeah.
And it's really cool because it changes things up. Honestly, like it's a good thing that it's that way, because if everyone's the same, I don't know how many different things I could come up with, you know? So
yeah, it like tests you to make you better too, I feel like, and then like you learn out of it as well, I'm sure, from every person that you get in the ring with. Good Cup Back Cup says, oh crap, forgot about that. Thought I forgot to ask the question. Definitely forgot to go back and watch it. He goes, I just finished Reverse the Curse and watching action while I'm listening to you. Guess I need to go watch the Hybrid show straight after now before I forget again. Hybrid's great. Like, definitely check it out. He has another question for you. He goes, oh crap, forgot about that. Thought I forgot to ask a question. Oh, I'm sorry. With Conan being an anagram, he does this to everybody, just so you know. He loves messing with everybody on my podcast. Would Conan being an anagram of no cam, as a bigger wrestler, is there a move you would like to be able to do but simply no can do? Ooh, that's an interesting one.
Honestly, and like I know a lot of people are gonna be like, there's no fucking way, but I could pretty much do anything. I could do a 630. And like a lot of people, like, just because I haven't done it yet on shows, because I'm not trying to break my neck. It's not like I'm in front of WrestleMania right now, but yeah, I'm 6'2", 260, and there's really not much I can't do. it's very weird to me and everyone else. And like, I know it, like, I'm not bragging in any type of way. It's just when I was a little kid, I had a trampoline, I'd screw around and stuff like that. And all those movements, I never forgot how to do. It was like riding a bike to me. So that's why it's easy for me to just like do all the flips and stuff that everyone's seeing now that they're impressed with, which I'm glad, because I really feel like I was meant to do this. But yeah, there's not much that I can't do. Maybe like, I don't know. Stay tuned.
It'll come up. It'll like randomly it'll come to you if there's something. JCW is another promotion dear to my heart. It's another favorite promotion. You know, so let's go a little deeper. Let's talk about opening day, which was so huge for everybody. It's like JCW's back. Like, here we go. And I feel like JCW has been killing it. Like I was just there Sunday. And it just keeps getting like better and better and better. But like, you got to be like on one of the first shows of them coming back. Like, how cool was that for you?
Yeah, it was awesome. That was it was a hot crowd, and me and Steve, like I said, I had one of the best matches of my life with him, and yeah, it was a really good time and all that stuff. Hoping I could be a part of it again sometime soon.
Yeah. So would you fight him like again? Would you like to have like another rematch with him?
Yeah, that's definitely gonna happen at some point. But yeah, there's so many people there that I would like to work, like Marcus Mathers. I can't wait to have a match with that kid. And I mean, it hasn't happened yet, but when it does, I'm sure it's gonna be something to remember. But yeah, he's definitely someone I got my sights on and stuff like that. But yeah, there's a good group of guys over there.
Nah, they definitely are. I feel like the nice thing with JCW, that we'll get into GCW after. I feel like JCW has definitely brought a lot of new fans, and I'm sure you probably got a lot more fans, like, because I wasn't so much aware of you either. I feel like until, you know, like these weekends with Hybrid and JCW. So it's nice where, you know, again, like be here in New York. I live in New York, so going to like New Jersey and you seeing all these like new people that you didn't even see. So I'm sure you gained like a lot of new fan base as well from that. So, but I'm here for you and Marcus Mathers. Marcus Mathers is one of my faves. Like, he knows I love him to death. Like, he's just killing it. So then we got GCW. GCW is great. I mean, Brett knows what he's doing. I know Brett's like one of his favorite things is scramble matches. So I particularly want to go and talk about Jimmy Lloyd's Z Generation F, which you were part of with Gabriel Sky, Hunter Drake, Levi, Ninja Mac, and American Beetle. Like, nuts. So like, talk to how it is like being in a scramble match and working with all these guys. Like, you got a lot of high flyers there. Like, how is that?
Oh man, we were the first match of like to start off like the collective, so we were all trying to go out there and just kill it, and we kind of overshot on some things, you know. I almost killed American Beetle. I'm still sorry about that. And then it's cool because Gabriel Sky got me back because we jumped off a 12-foot wall through some doors. But it was great. It was awesome going down there in Tampa with all the fans. Like, that whole week was just Mania week was amazing, and to be a part of Jimmy's show and all that stuff, it was a really good opportunity for me. And yeah, I'm hungry for more. It was always a great time, and I hope we get to do it again soon.
Yeah,
scrambles are good. Like, it's it's like a little melting pot there, so it's like you could do a little bit of everything with like all the people that are there and all that stuff. So it's a little tough to navigate and win one of those things, but it's definitely cool to be in, get your stuff and showcase your skills, you know.
Yeah, that's how I definitely feel. I feel like everybody shows out a little bit, and it's just like a big way to pop the crowd very hard. I personally love scrambles very, very much. So great. Good Cop Bad Cop says, with being 260, you should do 620 instead of 630. Watching now, I can see when that move drops. You're a mess. Devin in the chat says, we need Marcus versus Conan at Hybrid. April says, faves. And actually, you know what? Since Devin brought this up, I wanted to talk a little bit this with you as well. He says also congrats on the AEW episode. So it's so cool, even for me, to watch people that I watch in the indies and even get like shots with AEW. It's so exciting. So many people we've had on the podcast got to, be on Dark or Elevation. But tell us a little about your experience with AEW and all that.
It was amazing. It was something that popped up. I know a lot of those guys saw my stuff on my Instagram and all that, and were impressed. So I got invited out and all that stuff, and it was a really good time. It was a great environment. Definitely opened my eyes on a lot of things and put some certain things in perspective for me, because that's a great company right there, and I'm happy. I don't know if I should even say it. I should be going back soon. So we'll see how all that stuff pans out. I don't want to, talk too much about it, but yeah.
That's cool also too, like to see like the photo. Like I love the promo pics that I'm seeing from everybody. It's so neat to see their cam guy take all these gorgeous photos. And I'm always gonna give credit to like all the photographers out there in the indie scene as well. But like you guys kill it. Like
oh yeah.
So important to the whole scene. Mike's in the chat. He goes, the Spanish fly through the door was sick.
Oh, yeah.
Mike from Hybrid.
Real sick, and it hurt bad. So
oof. What's been like the spot that like hurt the worst that you're like, oh God, I'm not doing this again? Because I'm sure there's spots.
I would do it again, but it was definitely that. Like I would do it again just for the simple fact that like it kind of popped off on Twitter that day, and it got me a lot of new people like looking at me and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean it hurt. Like there was just no way around it. It was like the doors weren't even there, and I went straight to the cement. And like, yeah, that
oof. Well, I know like a question that like a lot of people always like to ask, because like I have different variety that comes onto this podcast, and I do get a lot of deathmatch wrestlers on this podcast. Would this be something that you would ever consider doing, or like, no, stay away, I'm not touching deathmatch wrestling? Like
I've kind of shifted like on that. Like when I first, like, I think I could watch death matches all day. I think they're cool as shit, but like I never was like, yeah, I'm never gonna do that. Like I don't mess with like the glass and all that stuff. I don't want to get barbed wire stuck in my hair, because I've seen it happen to Atticus and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And, like I'm like, okay, I'd be screwed. I got curly hair. That thing, I would have to rip it out. But I don't know. Like I think about it now, and I'm like, maybe I got one in me. Maybe I got one just to do it, But yeah, we'll see. We'll see how everything plays out.
Maybe it has to be like a stipulation death match or something. Like it has to have like only certain things in it, because we see like a lot of that.
I'm down with all the hardcore stuff, and like I wish every single match of mine could be, I could use doors, tables, ladders, chairs, everything. But like, obviously, I draw the line at like glass and stuff like that. Yeah. But I'm always down with that stuff. But yeah, maybe once I'll give it a shot, and we'll go balls to the wall with all that stuff. So we'll see. But it's gotta mean something.
Yeah. No, I like that. I respect that. I think we've had a couple of wrestlers come on here and they said it's got to be something like a story-driven line to where you get to that end point of like a death match, which is great too. Do you have any pre-match rituals?
I don't really know. I mean, I just freak out a bunch, honestly. I know people listen to music and stuff like that, but I'll sit there and I'll go in the corner and I'll think of everything and try to just like slow everything down and stuff like that, because I know my breathing starts getting all crazy. I get so nervous. It's crazy. It's like, I've never acted like this for like football games. I would get nervous, but it would be more of like a confidence thing and all that stuff. Like, or like, I know I'm going to go out there and just beat the shit out of people. But like now I'm just like, I really, really want to do well, because how much I care about it and I love it. Right. And I want it to be the best product every time I go out there, because you're only as good as your last match. So like, I want to go out there every single time and show out, and it doesn't always happen that way.
Mm-hmm.
And like a lot of wrestlers know and stuff like that. Not a lot of things go according to plan, and you got to change and adapt and all that stuff. But those are mostly what's going through my head before the match. But I really sit there honestly, like I freak out. That's what it is, and then I go out there and do it, and afterwards I feel like $1 million when everything works, and I think that's why I'm so addicted to it. But yeah, you know, everything. I'm still learning. Like my match that I had with Steve this past weekend was my 22nd singles match ever. So like, yeah, a lot of people think that I've been doing this a lot longer, but I may have been trained a long time. But the opportunities haven't really rolled out for me, as shocking as that is to hear, because of the way I look and everything. Not to be cocky, but a person of my caliber that looks this way and does the things that I do should get more opportunities. But that's more on the political side of things that I don't really fuck with, but we won't get into that.
Okay. So, that's just like crazy. So like, again, it's like still new experience. And like, again, you've been a big fan of wrestling. And like you said, you were of the 90s. We've had Amy Leon recently. We were talking about, you know, the involvement of wrestling. You know, here was someone that was in the 80s, wrestle 90s. Like it's nuts. And even for like women's wrestling. And what's also big, and I'm a big fan of, is intergender wrestling as well. Is this something that, you know, you would love to try? Like, is it something like, is there somebody in your brain that like, oh, like I want to have that intergender match with? Like,
no, honestly, I couldn't do it. I couldn't find myself to do it, and it's nothing on the. I think women's wrestling is amazing right now. I think they're really killing it. But just for me, like, I think about it in this way where I'm like, if I'm this big and then I go in there and either I beat a girl or get beat by a girl, that discredits everything that I do. Because it's like, I'm beating a girl, but again, 6'2", 260, so it's like, you should, and there's nothing to be proud about there. Yeah. And then if I get beat, then I just look like a bitch, you know? So like, I can't really win on this one. But hey, I mean, I think all the girls are killing it. I love that it's not so much of let's go out there and show some skin and get fans in that way, where like they're actually going out there now and competing, beating the shit out of each other and being athletic specimens. Like I love that. Like wrestling is so cool nowadays, and so kudos to them. But yeah, I don't think I want to get in there and throw hands with any chicks anytime soon.
No, so. I respect that. I get that. I mean, like, I'm sure there's a lot of people like, you know, feel like the same way. So it's just nuts, the evolvement of wrestling. So like I want to manifest some stuff, because you never know what happens on this podcast. Sometimes things get like talked about and then they wind up happening into the world of wrestling. So it's like me being a podcaster, I'm never going to be a promoter. So if promoters want to book these matches for me, like, hello, let's do it. So, let's start with this. Is there a type of match that you would love that's on like your bucket list, you know, to have? Like whether it's like a no ropes match or, you know, an Iron Man match. Is there like a type that, you know, like I have to cross off my bucket list?
I really want to get in the cage. I want to have a cage match. And I have had a TLC match before, but I definitely want to do one again. It was one of the funnest matches I've ever had. But yeah, I'm really into that stuff, because like when I was growing up, like with like the Hardy Boys and all that stuff, like TLC was where it's at. And I feel like, so like I'm doing all this crazy stuff now that people are seeing, and that's just in regular matches and stuff like that. We throw some ladders and stuff like that in there, like the sky's the limit, you know? So I'm really, really waiting to have like one of those in the near future, because it'll definitely give some people stuff to talk about. But that cage match, basically trying to just do different things now, because it will give me more experience. But that's really it. Yeah.
Okay. So again, like it's nuts. Wrestling's constantly changing, right? And we always have like, you know, people getting signed every day. You know, we're getting new kids into the world of indies. Like they're getting younger and younger too, which is nuts. I mean, we have Nick Wayne, who's 16 years old. You know, we have Billy Starks, who's 16. You know, and then you have like, again, like we were talking, like Marcus Matters, who's like 18 years old. But come on, let's put it out there. Like, is there anybody, even a vet, or, is there anybody like I need to get into the ring with, or like they've caught me so much, like I need to get into the ring with?
There's 3 people that really stand out, and it's like I really hope this happens within the next year. But so Marcus, like I would love that. Atticus, I would really love that, and Alex Zane. Like I really like. I've always wanted to face Alex, and then when he got signed and everything and left, I was like, okay, well, shit, that ain't gonna happen, at least on this stage right now. And then now that he's back and everything like that, I'm like, this is a possibility, and hopefully it happens soon. But yeah, so it'd be Marcus, Atticus, and Alex Zane, and I'd be good with that. Like, those guys are awesome, and I really think I could do some cool stuff with them. So yeah.
I just want to throw that into like a 4-way right now, because like I'm just like thinking about it, between Marcus wrestling Atticus. I've been dying for Marcus and Alex Zane to wrestle. And I know, April, you're listening in the chat, and she's going to be like, okay, well, I love Alex Zane. Like, you're her fave as well. So it's like, okay, we're going to fight me and her. If you guys get into a singles, just so you know, so you're going to hear a lot of screaming between me and my friend April. But I could see this as like a 4-way. And this would
I would love that.
It would be sick, but just be careful of the skewers from Atticus.
Hey, I'm not afraid to get stabbed up.
Okay, cool. Let me read some love into the chat. Devin says Manders versus Conan would be great in a death match. April says, oof, that'd be a hard watch for me. Manders and Conan's match are already beasts. Devin says, I think Manders versus Conan 3 needs to be in Texas bull rope match. Ooh.
Yeah, someone make that happen, because all right, Steve beat me at JCW. They just beat me at Hybrid, which in the past, like, okay, he's 2 up on me. You don't get that rubber match and all that stuff. This ain't going to be a rubber match. I just want Lycan Manders 3, because I need to prove that I can beat him, because I almost had him. I was this close, but Steve's been doing this for a while and all that stuff. So it was tough. It was tough, but I think I know what to do next time. So it needs to happen. Someone needs to book that.
Oof. Take your notes, promoters out there. I know you listen. Devin also says Conan versus Atticus in a cage would be sick. Oof. There you go. There's your cage match, because that would be crazy. Oof.
I'd love it.
Oh, man. You never know. Like I said, you never know. Things happen on this podcast. So we have a fan tweet from our friend Conrad from Everything Pro Wrestling. He goes, what is the biggest life lesson you always come back to?
All right. Just going to get a little deep here.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get deep.
So a lot of people don't know this, especially in the wrestling world. But so about 10 years ago, actually, to the day, I was hospitalized for 6.5 months. I was actually supposed to die. And that sounds really dark saying that, but it's the truth. I had an infection in my spine, and it was eating the cartilage in my spine, and it was within maybe like an hour or so of touching my spinal cord, which would have went straight to my brain and killed me. Wow. And I'm one of the first people in the world to have this. So the doctors didn't know what to do, and they were kind of scrambling. I had emergency surgery, all this stuff. And it was a very tough time. 6.5 months, 9 hours a day on IV. And I used to lay there at night, and this isn't for sympathy or anything. This is just facts. But I would lay there at night, and I would text my friends and tell them that I love them and I'm going to miss them. And my mom would sit next to my bed. She would hold my hand. And I used to always tell my mom, I was like, if I stop breathing when I go to sleep, I'm sorry. And the point of all that is there's someone out there right now. There's someone out there right now in a hospital, laying in a bed, praying for the opportunity that you have every single day. And that's the truth. Like, I used to lay there and be like, this is it. I'm 16 now, and this is all I had to live for. Like, I'm going to die and all that stuff. And it was hard times, but I feel like I've been on borrowed time ever since, and I got a second chance at life. And now every single day, like I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't care about any of that. The only thing I really want to do is be successful and live my dreams with wrestling. And I think about that every single day of my life, that there's someone out there right now just laying in a hospital that they don't know if they're going to be able to get out of that predicament. And I'm lucky enough to have gotten through that. And I get to wake up every single day and do what I love, which is wrestling, working out, all that stuff. So always remember that it's all about perspective. And a lot of people don't, they really don't think about that stuff, but because they think it'll never happen to them. But life's precious. So
no, it's so thank you for sharing that. Like, that's deep, definitely deep.
Yeah.
Thank you, Conrad, for your question. Wow. So I want to talk because I love to ask about tattoos. I mean, I have a bunch of tattoos, and you have a bunch yourself. So I would love to know, like, some, like behind, like some inspirations of like, what's the meaning? Like, are there going to be more? And like, what's your favorite?
Oh yeah. So I got my right arm is basically everything has to do with like my family and stuff like that. And then everything else absolutely is just, I just thought it was cool, so I got it. But like, I don't know. This is like, I have this bear on my forearm that's really nice, and like a wolf on my shoulder and all that. And then I got my leg done as well. Yes, there will be more. My mom's probably going to listen to this and be pissed off and stuff like that. I don't even know why she cares anymore, but yeah, I'm going to do like everything, like throat down. And I don't know. I'm just obsessed. I love tattoos. There's definitely going to be a lot more. So
they're addicting, right? Like, it's one of those things. It's like once you start, like, you keep going.
I always wanted tattoos and stuff growing up, and then after I got my first one, I just jumped right into it. Sleeve. I got a sleeve, and then I got my leg sleeve, and then I was like, screw it, I got another sleeve. Now I got like my chest and everything starting to go. So I'm gonna fill everything up eventually. So I gotta have the time and money. It's really tough between wrestling shows though, because you gotta heal. I'm not trying to get an infection again, So
yeah, no.
Yeah,
I get it. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, Mom.
Yeah. Sorry. You know what it is.
It is. I think a lot of us are get like that. It's like, really, another tattoo again, like kind of deal. And it's addicting. If you have one, you understand. You just keep wanting. And I keep saying my last one's my last one, and then poof, a new one appears. So I definitely feel you. So interesting. All right. So like, because April's asking me, she wants me to ask you this bear question. Because she has this like thing. Yeah, I'm gonna throw you under the bus, April. I'm sorry if you're gonna like message me and ask me to ask them this. So the whole thing is like, we always like say like, being single, right? And like, when some of the guys that are out there and it's like, like whatever, like they're like wusses or whatever like that. But would you ever fight a bear? Like she always says that she wants to be with a guy who could fight a bear for her. So like,
would I ever fight a bear? I mean, no.
No.
Like, okay, this leads me to my question. I always ask people, I'm saying, yo, who's going to win in a fight? A bear, a grizzly bear, or a gorilla? And I think a grizzly bear would absolutely beat the shit out of a gorilla. People don't think that, but I do. I think a grizzly bear would absolutely kill a gorilla. And those things are like 1,000,000 times stronger than me. So I would definitely get worked. So no, I'm not going to face a bear ever.
She has this thing with the bear. It's the most funniest thing. Oh man, a good cop, bad cop says like Bear Bronson. Okay, so does that count? Like April, like let me know. Like, does that one count? Would you fight Bear Bronson? I'm dead. I can't. You guys are ridiculous in my chat right now. Kylie Hamilton's in the chat. So who got you into wrestling? I know we touched a little base. Maybe you want to like, and go a little bit more. For Kylie in the chat just now.
Okay, so I don't know what you mean by this because this could go one or two ways. Who got me into wrestling when I was a little kid? I would say either Jeff Hardy, Triple H, The Rock. I don't know. They were all freaking great back then. Like, it was just whatever. But actually got me into wrestling. Funny story. It brings me back to Steve Manders again, which is crazy. My teammate in high school for football went to the University of Iowa to play football. I went and I was playing the University of Albany here home, and I just didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to play football anymore. So I was like, I need to figure out how I'm going to get trained and start wrestling and all that stuff. My buddy that was out in Iowa played with Steve. Steve was training at Black and Brave. I got a phone number through that. I got in touch with Seth. They invited me out. I moved out to Iowa and never looked back. So honestly, Steve Manders was he was the one that really like closed that gap for me and helped me out and got me in that spot. So I'm really grateful for that guy. I still want to beat him.
That's awesome. I love that. Another like fun question I always like to ask everybody that comes on here, like you guys travel a lot. And I know like you guys travel in packs sometimes, like it's that. So I'd love to hear one of your favorite road trip stories.
I don't know if I could say some of the craziest stuff on it, but I'll keep it like whatever. There's been like my friend Solomon Tupu, that dude totaled his car by hitting deer. And then the very next time we get back on the road, which was crazy because we were going to JCW opening day when this happened. We're driving through the night. We're in Pennsylvania. It's middle of the night. And there's a truck in front of us and it wiped out. Like I'm telling you right now, like we were just going down the road. It hit an entire family of deer, like 8 of them.
Oh my
God. They went flying everywhere right in front of us. And we were going like 80 behind the guy. And this big ass deer landed like flat right in front of us. And we hit it. And we were screaming. We had to pull over and everything. We thought we were like, that is it. We ain't going to make it to the show and all that stuff. But yeah, like that was pretty wild. But,
oh my God.
Yeah, it, like they were all like crossing at the same time or something.
No,
It was like bowling pins.
Oh no. Okay, I should not know. Like that's so sad.
And actually, I don't know what it is with me, but actually, when I was coming home from AEW the other night, I'm driving and I don't know how this even happened because this is the second time in my life that has happened. Middle of the night, driving through Massachusetts, a hawk flew down and I crushed it. It like in the middle of the night, it just flew right in front of me.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
That's scary. That's so scary. Oof. Well, that's a road trip story for you guys. Oh man.
I guess, yeah.
Oof, that would ruin your. I wouldn't want to eat after that. Like.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Oh
we
my
pulled
God.
over and all that stuff. We were just like, oh my God. Like we thought the car was ruined,
Oh
but
my God.
it was fine.
Oof. I've had a mattress fly over my car, like once driving in New Jersey. I was like, that was scary. Like, oof, my goodness.
That happened.
Oof, my God. Veronica asks us, who is your dream opponent or dream match?
I want to face my trainer, Seth Rollins. That would be amazing for me. That's what I want. Like that's my dream match above all matches. Like to face him, the person that like really gave me the keys to this and the tools to paint my own picture and all that stuff, to like go out there and face him on a huge stage. And I'm sure it will happen in my career. I know it will actually. And that's my dream match for sure.
That's awesome. Oof. I mean, it would have to be, I would think, definitely. So you never know, right? Like you never know. And I'm sure, because I've seen, like even like Tremont, like he's been on the podcast and we talked about this and knowing him and all the students that he's created, and he wants to like wrestle his kids and all the kids that come on this podcast too. They say it, so I'm sure that will happen for you one day. It'll be very exciting for you guys. So David Russell, it's going to be the thing now because me and MLJ were talking about it the other day when we had on the podcast because he didn't really have a good road trip story. So he talked about hotel stories. So David wants to know if you have any funny hotel stories to share.
Again, I don't know if I could say some of the stuff.
We're getting him in trouble.
Yeah, I don't know. We're all just a bunch of ball busters trying to have a good time, and sometimes it goes a little bit too far.
Yeah.
I don't know. We'll keep it PG again. I don't know. When we were in Atlantic City, like a few months back or whatever, one of our friends fell asleep on the floor. He was messed up or whatever, and he didn't have any blankets or whatever. So I proceeded to take everything in the room, tables, chairs, napkin. I buried them and then posted it on Snapchat and all that stuff. So I mean, that's a little, it's whatever. But yeah, like I put everything on him, like you could ever imagine. There was like a mountain. But that's really it. We keep.
I see how you guys are because I have a lot of friends and I'll go into their rooms and I'm like, my God, like, I'm so glad I'm not hanging out with you guys in here. Like the shenanigans that goes into hotel rooms, especially in Atlantic City. It's exactly that. It's a lot of shenanigans. So
Really.
it's great though, but that's funny. So what are some things you like to do when you're not in the squared circle?
Honestly, I don't really do shit. I lift weights. So I love working out. A lot of people hate that shit. I really do. Like, I just love working out. I've always been that way. Like I said previously, like I don't drink or smoke, so I don't really go out and party, and I don't like to like surround myself with that stuff because growing up where I'm from, a lot of people do that, and I don't know. I try to escape that. So
Yeah.
I don't do shit. I go and I lift weights, and then I come home, I watch Netflix, I cook food. Like, that's really it. Pretty simple.
Oh, what's the best deal? What's the best dish that you like to cook?
I'm not a good cook. I like to make food for like just to like have, but I'm not a good cook. I mean, I don't make a little chicken cutlet, I don't know, a little pasta or something like that, but yeah, I'm not a good cook at all. If I didn't have an air fryer when I went off to Iowa, if my mom didn't get me that thing, I would have starved to death. So yeah, that thing's life.
What is it? The dinosaur chicken nuggets, pretty much. Like,
Oh yeah, that I definitely have some Sweet Baby Ray's freaking barbecue sauce. Yeah, Dino Nuggets it is.
I'm done. That's it. I'm dead. I love it. I love it. So I have one final question for you. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. And I'm always trying to help out like fans. The fans always message me. They'll listen to a lot of these interviews with a lot of wrestlers. So I always like to ask, to pay it forward to them. To all inspiring and amateur wrestlers out there, what's a piece of advice that you would give them?
Cliche stuff, but work hard. Leave this better than when you found it. Always respect everyone and try your hardest to actually make the product good. I feel like a lot of people feel like these days they feel like they're fans of it so they can do it, and that's not always the case, and it just makes the product kind of shitty because a lot of people don't take it serious enough. But I can speak for a lot of other people, but like the wrestlers that really are passionate about this and love this, like myself and many others, they want it to be all around good. And right now wrestling is it's amazing. Like there's so many different things that you could do. It's not just one place. There's just so many different things, and I'd really, really just say respect the business, and if you're gonna do it to the fullest, and don't half-ass shit. That's all I can say.
No, it's great advice. I mean, we watched some people here, like they started training. Shout out to Sky. She's 18, and I love it that she loves indie wrestling, and because of a lot of guys like you, that she was finally inspired, and now she started training. So I always love to shout out here on the podcast. So big fan.
Yeah.
No, it's great advice. April wants to know, what's your top 5 bands or artists on your workout playlist?
A Day to Remember, always number one. They are the best band to ever live. I went to 2 of their concerts in 1 week last month. It was great. I'm obsessed. I've seen them like 11 times. So A Day to Remember is number 1. I've been state champs. They're from Albany, New York. Actually know some of those guys. So state champs is really good. Point North, they're on the come up. They're really good. Bring Me the Horizons, always a classic. And who else will we go with? probably like Sleeping with Sirens or something like that. But yeah, I love all those guys. So.
Oh, that's so great. I made a day to remember. I can't go wrong with that. Love them. Love it. Absolutely love it.
That.
So if you guys have any other questions, you could drop them. But let's talk about, I have your merch here. So really cool designs that we got here. So maybe tell everybody a little bit about the inspiration behind it. You know, they can message you clearly to buy these from you personally.
Yeah. Yeah, just everyone, if you're interested or anything like that, you can DM me on Instagram or anything like that. Those shirts, everything on that shirt, I have tattooed on me. So, yeah, it's just a little design I came out with after the first shirt, and stuff that I stand by. Stay true to yourself. I do not fear death, more so a life not lived. It means go out there and live your life. Like, don't be scared. Just live your life and do whatever you can to be happy and all that stuff. And the skeleton thing is just something that I got tattooed on me, which has another personal meaning. But yeah, if you're into it, you like those designs and all that stuff, hit me up on Instagram, and I'll definitely get back to you.
Perfect. Is there any other shows coming up that your book that are out there yet, or nothing?
Yeah, this week I'm trying to get all that stuff in line. I don't really have certain dates right now. I'm trying to figure out when the next hybrid show is. Got all the GCW things, trying to get that all situated. I don't know. It's weird. I just moved back to the Northeast, so I'm trying to get my schedule all ironed out with all that stuff. But yeah, we'll see. I'll definitely like post something on my Instagram when I have dates and all that stuff coming up. So.
Awesome. Book them, guys. Book them, all you promoters out there that you know, listen to us here on the No Holds Barred Network. But tell everybody where they could like find you if they want to like follow you and all that fun stuff.
At Conan Lycan on Twitter. If you type in at Conan Lycan on Instagram, it's gonna pop up Nicky Mariano, which is my real name. Yeah, I should probably change it, but I don't give a shit. Yeah, Nicky Mariano 44. But at Conan Lycan for everything, and you'll find me.
Awesome. All his links are in the description below, so if it's easier for you guys. But I think that's gonna wrap everything up for us today. I can't thank you enough for coming, you know, hanging out with us, chatting, funny with the bear stuff and all the other fun stories. So that was fun share. So thanks for that so much. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to seeing you in the future. We're going to like hopefully another hybrid show with like maybe like Atlantic City if they come back over there, and you know. So if you guys could get down to one of those shows, definitely go check it out, or JCW, GCW, check those promotions out. I mean, and if you can't, most of them are on YouTube anyway, so definitely go. And I know a Good Cop Bad Cop said that he was going to go check out that whole entire show of hybrid, so thank you for that as well. So
Right.
with that being said, guys, so stay safe, support independent wrestling, and have a good night. We'll talk to you guys soon. Bye.